the world.
Ballpark Cam, San Francisco, AT&T Park, Game 4, NLDS Cubs and Giants. The Cubs are going with John Lackey for their Game 4 starter. John Lackey is going to make his first start since September 27th. Opposing him, the left-hander, Matt Moore. Welcome inside our MLB Tonight studios. I'm Robert Flores. We're going to start tonight's Game 4 between the Cubs and the Giants right here on MLB Network. We're going to send you out to Matt Vasgersian and the Hall of Famer John Smoltz, as well as the insider Ken Rosenthal. That game is going to start here on MLB Network during the conclusion of the Nationals-Dodgers game. So we'll get you set to go out to San Francisco when we come back.
You say brilliant, I say resilient. You say magician, I say repetition. Brilliant, resilient, magician, repetition. Let's run the whole thing back. You say phenomenal, I say methodical. You say incredible, I say inevitable. Phenomenal, methodical, incredible, inevitable. Let's run the whole thing back. Carbs to compete, electrolytes to replenish.
Moved to the city, but I feel all alone. My only friend left is this here phone. I'm missing country roads and open skies. Country girls keep both feet on the ground, but city boys online are just messing around. I feel so lonely here, I'm gonna cry. But now I know you don't have to be a farmer to join FarmersOnly.com.
Girl, I want to be with you all of the time. The only time I feel alright.
Amazing sleep stays with you all day and all night. With Sleep Number, you choose the exact firmness and comfort you want, and so does your partner, for the best sleep ever. It's the final days of the Columbus Day sale, with the Queen C4 mattress set now only $1399.98, plus 24-month financing. Learn more at sleepnumber.com.
Welcome back to Ballpark Cam, AT&T Park. That's Matt Moore, who's getting to start in Game 4 for the San Francisco Giants. He'll be opposed by John Lackey. San Francisco, they've won 8 of their last 11 games at this dojo, dating back to the regular season. Here's a look at your pitching matchup for tonight's game. Once again, this game is going to start here on MLB Network, and when the Dodgers and Nationals are done on FS1, we'll take you over to FS1. But Dodgers and Nationals right now in the bottom of the 8th, tied at 5. So in the meantime, Cubs and Giants, they will start here on MLB Network. Some news and notes before you get ready for this Game 4 this afternoon or this evening, depending on where you're at in the portion of the United States. Cubs pitchers, they've done pretty well at the plate. John Lackey looking to become the first pitcher in Major League history to get a postseason win with 4 different teams. And the San Francisco Giants, they've won a Major League record 10 straight postseason games when facing elimination. Ballpark Cam, as you look at John Lackey, once again will be making his first start since September 27th when he faced the Pirates. He got the win that day, pitched 5 innings, gave up just 1 earned run. In 20 career postseason starts, John Lackey is 8-5 with an ERA of 3.12. Matt Moore, over his last 8 regular season starts, 6-2. Let's send you out to San Francisco. Matt Vasgersian, the Hall of Famer John Smoltz, and Ken Rosenthal.
Well, still some daylight at AT&T Park tonight as an excited crowd hopes for yet another evening that the sun won't set on their team's 2016 season. Welcome to San Francisco and Game 4 of the National League Division Series between the Chicago Cubs and the San Francisco Giants. And welcome inside the broadcast booth with Hall of Famer John Smoltz, Matt Vasgersian. The night after an instant classic yesterday, 5 hours, 13 innings in a game that went down as one of the most exciting in recent Division Series history. The Giants stave off elimination again, 10 straight elimination wins in the postseason. And it seems along this run, John, 3 World Series titles in 5 years. They've discovered a new unlikely hero at every move. And that unlikely hero this year seems to be Conor Gillaspie.
And that's why I love this time of the year, because you get to uncover those heroes. And if it weren't for the injury to Eduardo Nunez, we may not even be talking about Conor Gillaspie. But it is in that wild card game where we took notice. This 3-run homer in the 9th in Madison Bumgarner's gem allowed this to even be the conversation that we're having. And then again in Madison Bumgarner's game 3, this off of Chapman. Can you imagine hitting a triple, putting your team ahead, having only 2 hits be this significant? Conor Gillaspie's career has taken notice, and the San Francisco Giants have life.
Batting 6th and playing third base for Bruce Bochy again tonight. He and the rest of his Giant teammates taking swings against John Lackey, the most experienced active postseason pitcher in the game right now.
Yeah, and of all the moves that the Cubs made in the offseason, I think this is the underlying best one, because what it did is it gave them a lot of depth. It gave them that 4th starter that they need, and of course all the experience in the world. He's not going to shy away from any moment. He's been in all the moments. There's his postseason record, 8-5. And oh, by the way, as age has crept up on him, being with the Cubs this year, this is the best he's done with a lot of categories. You see hits per 9 in innings, and of course the balls in play, a batting average, a career low, and then the strikeouts per 9 inning. For the Chicago Cubs, they're hoping that John Lackey can take them back to Chicago, reset their rotation without having to go to a Game 5.
Not as many postseason innings for the Giants starter, but there is some postseason experience to draw on for San Francisco left-hander Matt Moore. For more on him, we say hello to Ken Rosenthal.
Well, Matt Moore's first postseason start was for the Tampa Bay Rays in 2011. He was 22 at the time. It was his 4th major league appearance. The Rays did not want him to think too much about it, didn't want him to think too much about it, so they did not tell him about it until after the workout the day before. Well, Moore was brilliant that day, pitching 7 scoreless innings against the Rangers, but he had some rocky times after that, underwent Tommy John surgery in 2014. The Giants acquired him on August 1st to bolster their rotation, and tonight he will face the manager who first gave him the ball in 2011, Joe Maddon.
All right, Kenny, Joe Maddon hoping that what happened last night, being 6 outs away from heading back home and thinking about a date with either the Dodgers or the Nationals, is his fate tonight. It is Matt Moore to try to stave off elimination for San Francisco once again. 33 starts during the regular season. His combined numbers between Tampa Bay and San Francisco, a 13-game winner with a 4.08 ERA. He finished very strong for the Giants down the stretch. Most recently on the final Sunday of the regular season, 8 innings of 1-run baseball in a 7-1 San Francisco win. This is how Joe Maddon approaches Game 4, his lineup against Matt Moore tonight. Not a lot of changes, but some notable discussion points and a notable cold spell for Anthony Rizzo, who is hitless 0 for 13 this postseason. Jason Hayward gets a start in right, David Ross at catcher. Those were 2 positions that we kind of speculated as to what Joe would do on our way to the ballpark tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would look for the first inning is always a key, right? The first inning as a starting pitcher, you want to come out and establish yourself. But for Matt Moore, I would think the first innings, he's had some hiccups this year. He loves to attack with the fastball. And after attacking with the fastball about the 2nd time through the lineup, he mixes it in. But against the Cubs, that may not be a good formula. He's going to have to mix it up right from the beginning if he's going to have success against the Cubs.
Well, some of the fastball usage that you talk about, John, he does start fastball heavy early on. He's been that way for a while, and Joe Maddon is certainly familiar with Matt Moore, having managed him in Tampa Bay for a number of years. And when Matt broke in, Maddon was one of his mentors in the big leagues. Let's take a look at the defense behind Matt Moore tonight. Gillaspie, Crawford, Panik, and Belts in the infield. Blanco, Span, and Pence in the outfield. Another night without Angel Pagan, who was again unavailable because of back spasms. And Buster Posey, of course, behind the plate as per usual in the postseason for San Francisco. Dexter Fowler digging in as we are ready to put the opening trappings on Game 4 here in San Francisco on a beautiful night for baseball. Moore is ready, and we are underway tonight. Dexter Fowler 2 for 12 so far in this division series. He is among a notable group of Cubs that have been slow to get out of the gate so far this postseason. So much attention had been given, John, to the Giants' offensive misgivings in games 1 and 2. The Cubs, for their part, though they have a 2-1 lead, have not put up the kind of offensive numbers that folks are accustomed to seeing.
No, they haven't, and a lot of pressure on that front four of the lineup for the Cubs, and it's actually been some contributions from Pedro Baez along with Bryant, and you mentioned the pitchers that have carried them so far at this point.
A ball and 2 strikes, the count to the switch hitter Dexter Fowler. Well, it hasn't just been Anthony Rizzo. Fowler, as we talked about, 2 for 12. Jason Hayward has been slow, and Addison Russell continuing a trend that started in September. A slow finish based on the great overall season he had. And a called strike 3 starts the night.
Yeah, a little surprised by this at bat. You know, Fowler's going to be patient early, but taking 2 fastballs down the middle and then an inner half fastball. Matt Moore is going to throw fastball, knuckle, curveball. He's got a cutter he's bringing back and a changeup that's way underrated. Posey has been trying to entice him to throw more changeups as he gets through the game.
Here's Chris Bryant now. He takes a strike.
And there's that changeup right there. In his last game, Matt Moore came out against the Dodgers and pretty much just said, here's my fastball, go ahead and hit it. And already he's mixed in his curveball and changeup in the first inning.
Quickly 0-2 to Chris Bryant, who was 3 for 5 yesterday with the big game-tying home run in the 9th. That sent us to an eventual 13 innings and a San Francisco walk-off winner. But when you're in a category with home run Baker, first player since 1911 with a game-tying postseason homer in the 9th inning or later in Cubs history, you have done something very special. 0-2 to the 2-time All-Star, and he wants to think about things. One of the storylines in this pitching matchup tonight, John, is the unknown for the Chicago lineup. There is only one Cub in tonight's lineup that's faced Matt Moore previously, and that was Dexter Fowler with a grand total of 1 at-bat against him. But for the rest of the lineup, Bryant on down. This is the first they've ever seen of the 27-year-old left-hander.
Well, that's the pitch he's going to have. That curveball. Bryant struggles a little bit against curveballs as opposed to sliders. And you see it's a knuckle curveball, which is going to create that downward tilt.
Ben Zobrist casually taking in the proceedings. Still 1-2 to Chris Bryant.
Well, we have all kinds of video and data, of course, that these players are going to be pulling from. So they'll watch a lot of video of Matt Moore and vice versa. Matt Moore will watch the Cubs, and so far you can tell he's paid attention to what the Cubs do best, and that's crush fastballs. You have to throw fastballs, you have to establish it, but you don't pound it just to make your point. And he's already mixed up a good array of off-speed pitches, only 2 hitters in.
Has what he likes from Posey. The next 2-strike pitch misses down low, and it's 2-2.
And in a regular season game, Matt, you wouldn't do that, because a regular season game doesn't mean as much as this postseason game, and certainly an elimination game for the Giants. So you alter what you would traditionally do in a regular season game when you have the magnitude of this game. You have to. Your first inning is like your 9th inning, and you try to repeat that every single chance you get to stay in the game.
Moore's 2-2. He swung on and missed. There's that good changeup you talked about once again.
That's something since he's come over here. He's been able to utilize more. You see the changeup grip, and it comes off the fastball where you got to respect it, and then you see the depth and the change of velocity.
6-5 with San Francisco, 7-7 with Tampa Bay, and the same ERA, which is hard to do, by the way. 4.08.
So here now is Anthony Rizzo, again 0 for 13 so far in the series.
Now, if Moore gets ahead of Rizzo, curveball should be the choice. Rizzo has struggled against left-handers' curveballs.
Ball and a strike. Well, we talk about Anthony Rizzo struggling this postseason. The Cubs don't want to think that this is a trend, although the numbers do bear out some deeper problems. Just 6 for 45 in the postseason the last 2 years. That's a big layoff for him, because that's the kind of pitch Joe Maddon told us earlier today that Anthony Rizzo's been expanding his strike zone to try to get, and that's part of his problem, as you can see here, expanding against Madison Bumgarner. So I guess a 1-1 take isn't going to get the kind of notoriety that you'd like when you want to be written up in the newspaper the next day. But if Joe Maddon's looking for signs that Rizzo's coming around, that may be an important one. Moore a strike away from striking out the side to open the night. You think the crowd's into it tonight? The ball dudes, the seniors who collect foul balls here at AT&T Park and have for years. I mean, that guy looks like he's ready to go out there and play at second base tonight. The next 2-2. Another good tough take by Rizzo to draw a full count now. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
You saw him stay on that 2-2 curveball and pull it foul. See if Matt Moore goes to a 3-2 curveball. Him and Posey trying to figure out.
The payoff pitch. He lost him on ball 4.
And that one he went with the cutter. He has a cutter at 90 to 92 miles an hour, and you can imagine adrenaline working. And that cutter just never started at a height where Rizzo felt like it would be a strike.
So here's Ben Zobrist now after the 2-out walk by Anthony Rizzo. Zobrist yesterday started in the outfield, moved around as a part of Joe Maddon's grand scheme of mixing and matching in the extra innings, and takes a strike. Zobrist just 2 for 12 in the series. That's going to sound redundant, but again, it hasn't just been 1 or 2 Cubs that have struggled at the plate in this series. Oh, and 2 the count to Ben Zobrist.
Well, you can see the firm fastball at 95. Matt Moore loves his fastball. A little bit of a grunt going on, and getting ahead of most of the hitters. Setting a pretty good tone so far for his team, trying to get him in the dugout with no runs.
To the Zobrist is fouled away as he challenged him with a fastball. And as we welcome those of you who just got through watching the Dodgers survive a game-winning run, scoring in the bottom of the 8th inning in Los Angeles after yielding a late lead, is able to beat the Washington Nationals to send that series to a decisive Game 5. Alongside John Smoltz and Ken Rosenthal, Matt Vasgersian just underway here in San Francisco. A 2-out base runner for the Cubs in their half of the first, and an 0-2 pitch home to Ben Zobrist that's chopped out to second base. Joe Panik gathers it in. Nothing doing against Matt Moore to start the night.
our alliance and prepare for victory.